Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Kat from Elevate, and welcome to my channel where we talk about recovering from toxic relationships and regaining self love and self esteem. Today's topic is going to be why do we keep staying with toxic people? But before I get into the topic today, I hope you enjoy this video. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe by pressing the bell icon and get notified of any new videos. Also, please share this video with your friends who might need this message. Anybody struggling in a toxic relationship or has just gotten out of a toxic relationship. So, today's topic, why do we keep staying with toxic people like narcissists? Logically, we know that there's no point believing in people who keep letting us down. As we have life experiences and feel disappointment and pain from the way this person treats us, why do we keep staying? That's a big question. There are several reasons, and I will talk about six of them today. Number one is the trauma bond. It's an emotionally unhealthy attachment fueled by chemicals in your body, as well as your biological need to feel bonded to someone you love. This bond is strengthened due to intermittent reinforcement in the relationship, such as your breaking up and making up cycles, their loving behavior, and then disrespectful or cruel behavior. It's that Jekyll and Hyde thing. This behavioral reinforcement causes a trauma bond. And, for those of you who know what a trauma bond is, you've been in these relationships, it's extremely hard to break that bond. And honestly, the only thing that does it is to focus on no contact. As you get more distance from the person, it does seem to get easier to emotionally detach, but it is extremely painful. I think it's almost like going through a drug addiction or an end of an addiction. It really feels that powerful to people, and I've seen people go through that. But I think no contact, just going cold turkey, is really the only way to do it. Otherwise, you if you stay bonded with this person, trauma bonded, you can keep going through these cycles for years. On and off, breaking up, making up. You'll just continue these unhealthy cycles. Number two is codependency as children. So when we were growing up, seeing one parent or a caretaker of ours act codependent, this is what you learn. This is what you thought was normal and what feels comfortable to you. So it may seem totally normal and like love if you get into a codependent or enabler role with someone who's abusive due to how you grew up. It's not healthy, but it may have just been what you saw and accepted as love and family life, like normal love and family life. Like you thought that's what it was because of what you saw and what they say in psychology terminology is, what was modeled for you. This was what was modeled for you. Number three, as part of codependency, we were programmed as a child to forgive quickly and move on without talking about it. I think, growing up in that type of household, in a codependent type of household or a household where there were unhealthy dynamics, there's a level of sweeping things under the carpet that's very toxic. We are taught if we just wake up happy the next morning, it's as if the conflict the day before never happened. There's no reasoning or talking things out with an abuser. So we just pretend things are fine and nothing bad ever happened. While it's healthier to talk about conflicts afterwards and actually resolve things, abusers can't do that. So, I think probably growing up, we learned that that was the case. Like we weren't going to be able to get anywhere with an abuser or an addict. Maybe we had a parent who's an alcoholic or a drug addict or just not well, and there was no reasoning, there was no resolution. It wasn't like we can talk about all that happened and we're going to get to some sort of uh, meeting of the minds or peaceful um, resolution of whatever the argument was about or the issue. You just can't reason and have any kind of logical discussion with someone who is toxic. It's just you're never going to get that resolution. So often we learn not to rock the boat and we stay quietly and we just pretend that nothing ever happened and get up the next morning and everyone smiles, makes breakfast, and that's it. So I feel like that's another reason why some people will stay with toxic people like narcissists in their adult life because this is what they saw when they were growing up. Number 4, we want to believe the best in the person. If they're sick or suffering from mental illness, a personality disorder, or an addiction, we want to feel like maybe they can change. We hold on to a lot of wasted hope that this person will go back to who they acted like before. The person we first met, who they seemed to be, that amazing person who love bombed us in the beginning and treated us like we were the ultimate dream partner. And somehow we think that they will return to being that person again. We're in denial that that persona or mask that they had on was not real. We don't want to believe all the love they showed for us wasn't real. That's often too painful to face because it makes us feel diminished. Number 5, we have invested so much time and energy into this relationship and this person. There's something called the sunk cost fallacy. From Oxford Dictionary, it's defined as the phenomenon whereby a person is reluctant to abandon a strategy or course of action because they've invested heavily in it, even when it is clear that abandonment would be more beneficial. So, we struggle with the idea of abandoning things we've dedicated ourselves to. And this relationship is one of them, despite being a toxic situation. We feel like we spend so much energy, so much time trying to figure out their issues, our issues, the relationship issues, and we just it's like when someone has an investment and they don't want to sell it even though the stock is down and it may be going to zero, they hold on maybe because they feel like, well, I've put so much into this and I just want to take every chance I can to see if it gets better, if it goes up. So it's that kind of concept that maybe keeps us staying with toxic people. Number 6 is narcissists and other toxic people are great at gaslighting and creating a dynamic where they train you to think you need them. There are so many levels of psychological manipulation that these toxic people use as tactics, and you may not even realize you're under their coercive control. It's like that frog boiling in the water analogy. And it's so true for abusive relationships. A lot of the time, you don't realize what's happening until you're very deep inside the toxic relationship. And at that point, you may feel helpless to get out, not even understand a clear way to leave the situation, or not feel strong enough to leave. Because a lot of these manipulative tactics that they have and they do really beats down your self esteem and makes you feel like you're not strong. You just feel very weak when you've been dealing with one of these people or dating one of these people for a long time, especially. So, those are the 6 reasons, just a few. There are more, I'm sure, but just 6 reasons why we keep staying with toxic people. Some potential reasons why you might have stayed with a toxic person. Your logical mind knows that leaving the situation would make the most sense, even, while you're still staying, and everyone around you tells you that it makes sense to leave and end the relationship. Unfortunately, on an emotional level, you may be struggling with some of these things I mentioned, and you can't seem to break free. It takes a lot of time to come to terms with all the denial and take action sometimes. The first step is you really need to decide you deserve more in life and better treatment, whether it be in a relationship or friendship. You need to believe you deserve better. Making a decision to leave a toxic person like a narcissist is very challenging and painful. It's certainly not easy, and neither is the decision to go no contact. Those are the steps, though, to reclaiming yourself and starting your healing journey. I hope that this video helped you today, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video with anyone you know who may be going through a difficult time. Also, I'd love to hear your stories, what you've been through, and what you think, maybe some other reasons why you kept staying with a toxic person, even if you're out of it now. Perhaps there was something that I didn't list on this, and it was a reason why you stayed. So definitely put your thoughts in the comments. I love to hear what you guys have to say.